Welcome back to St. Louis at the Impact Gaming Center, where we have had ourselves a wonderful suite of matches so far throughout the day. We've had Oklahoma Christian fall to Cumberland. We've had Oklahoma Christian take down Nwosu. We've had plenty of teams all across the board winning matches. But there is one very interesting set of circumstances that has come out of Group A here for the duration of what will be the final set of matches for group play here on Saturday. Again, the top two teams will make their way from each of the groups to our four-team bracket tomorrow. Fisher Falcons right now, Amber, 2-0 with a 6-2 record. Cumberland at 1-1 with a 4-4 record. Oklahoma Christian are 1-1 with a 4-3 record. So here's how this shakes out. If the Cumberland Phoenix are able to best the Nwosu Rangers 3-0, they will automatically qualify for Sunday in the bracket play. If that happens, and Oklahoma Christian are able to beat Fisher in either a 3-1 or a 3-0, that means Oklahoma would then qualify with Cumberland, knocking Fisher out of contention for Sunday. So those are the storylines that we have out of Group A right now. That is the most important set of standings that we have seen. And St. Clair pretty much auto-qualified regardless. So that doesn't really matter. St. Clair will be there on Sunday. They've had apparently DoorDash 3-0 series. So if you at home are wondering, what is at the line? What is on stake? That is it. Fisher Falcons, they look good on paper. They're not safe.
No.
We have a chance for a 3-way 2-1 tie. And Jason Tatum's not playing tonight in Game 7. Hashtag soft.
Ah, jeez.
But yes, that is so. Amber, kind of like taking a look at what we have ahead for us, I guess now. We have Mars Hill, Wichita State Shockers. Both of these teams, very important matchup here, as these two teams have only played one match throughout today. So Wichita State. You give them the favor here, all of a sudden Mars Hill chances look a little bit further slim. Really, I think these are the two teams that have the best chance to make it out of what has been a very competitive Group B.
Yeah, it has been competitive from really top to bottom, and we got to talk to Lucio earlier after the Mars Hill game. And he sounded just very confident in how they were playing to this point, especially having just done the one match earlier. They said, you know what, we know how teams actually play around us. We talked so much to their search and destroy and things like that, and their strengths. They're like, we know how teams are playing to us. We know how we want to play our brand of Call of Duty. And he feels confident that, you know, if they go out and play and do what they need to do, they're going to walk into Sunday. They aren't even worried about Sunday at this point, right? He said, it's all for naught. If we can't win and get to Sunday, none of how we beat anyone matters. If they 3-0 Wichita somehow don't make it to Sunday, that doesn't matter to Lucho and co. So they're very focused on, you know, the task ahead of them, one map, one match at a time. And so Wichita State's next on the docket. And on paper, again, Mars Hill looking great. They looked great earlier today. But like you said, both of these two teams vying for a chance out of Group B.
Yep, absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the vetoes for the teams that are coming in right now. Thanks to SitRep once again. Shout out to Jay Bros, man. He did so much for the CCL this year with some of the stuff that he built for us. That guy is insane, and he will never admit it out loud, but he is a great and awesome dude. Speaking of weird things that happened right off the rip, Wichita State going out of their way to ban Scar for the Mars Hill Lions. I don't blame them whatsoever. That has been Mars Hill's like bread and butter, essentially. They just don't lose that map, and they're able to survive in a lot of it. They will, however, go for a Colossus, where they are 3-0 with a plus 104 differential. Mars Hill plays this one close. They have played it a lot more, so that could come into consideration and play a factor.
Make a pivot to the Search and Destroy after we get our map 4 here for the moment. And of course, that'll be Mars Hill picking Den Hardpoint. Really, any respawn you feel favorable on, but I mean, this one, again, reps for Wichita State, so at the end of the day, you do have a lot of time spent on the map, so that's something you're going to be okay with. See another Plaza SMD ban. Can't imagine why. I'm glad we did get one in this weekend, though, because I enjoyed myself on the one Plaza we did see. Gridlock going to go down as well. Really, everyone, especially at this point in the season, Alex, it's not a shocker. As we see the new maps getting banned, it really just isn't anything too crazy to see. Well, as I say it, the new map's getting out, but we do see Fringe slipping in here for Search and Destroy by a Mars Hill pick for map 2, so finally we'll get, you know, another talking point to these new maps.
I mean, to be fair, Fringe...
Yeah, not new, but...
If you were anywhere near BO3, you get it. If you played last year, you get it. For the most part, Fringe is still a really solid map all across the board inside of the game that we play called Call of Duty. I think it should be in over Clifftown for the hard point, but that is neither here nor there. Still works well for Search and Destroy. But for the ban on Scar, for the not for the Exposure, the ban on Scar we will get for the Overload, we will find ourselves a Den Overload. And yeah, you can see it here. I mean, realistically, across the two teams, really not a big disparity. It's just the point differential on the map. And that's for where Wichita State, I look at them and say, okay, maybe it's not the biggest spread in the world, but we see 3 dens at the end of the series regardless. So we are seeing kind of a weird look at the first 2 maps. We go from Colossus, which is going to be, of course, your very fast-paced, super close combat map where you are just going to be playing Bang Out City pretty much through and through. And then you go to a Fringe Search and Destroy where it's going to start to slow down a little bit. You're still going to have some of those bang outs, but you're really just trying to play for those first picks, peak angles, trying to get away from it. Mars Hill's playground has been the Den Overload, and Den in general, because they know that there's no connecting lane for the top set of roofs, and because of that very fact, they love to send players on flank routes every single time. So you are going to be looking for flanks constantly for Mars Hill if you're Wichita State going into that map 3. The same thing is going to be said on Colossus and Fringe, because again, Mars Hill, if they can get behind you and make it work, they're going to stick it every time.
That's just the way they play, and even if you know it's coming, guess what? They still find ways to best team on that. They find ways to find cheeky timings. They know you're looking for it. Okay, they won't throw it this round. They'll make you have to just play for someone in the back that's never going to show up. So when you have that advantage, when you have that in your pocket and in your gameplay that teams counter for so hard, now you can just play straight up. We're just going to run at you, Call of Duty, and they're going to have another player out of the mix looking for someone that'll never arrive. So Marcel just has a variety of options they can throw at you off opening breaks, off of hits onto hills, off trying to flip spawns. They really do have an open playbook and respawns. Sure, Search and Destroy a little different, but in the respawns, their playbook is pretty deep, and expect them to kind of tap into that here, perfect things as they want to try to punch their ticket into Sunday. Wichita State going to be opponent again. No one here is just going to roll over and give a win. So Mars Hill, though favored on paper, gonna have to go out and take this one. As we kick things off here, Alex, here we go. Another series underway on this Saturday.
Well, let's have some fun. Mars Hill, first one to touch the hard point. John Exotic. Peach will be able to go ahead and trade back for 2. That's going to be 4 down here for the side of Mars Hill. So now you have to look back from the opposite end. You're still spawning over towards P2. You're going to have a couple bodies inside of the hard point. Lucha the first one up for a contestation and a challenge on forward. Peach now wants to slide his way forward to try and push this further out. And of course, that team kill that comes in from AG onto Zuner, that's going to completely thwart what Mars Hill set up for themselves. Wichita State will flip them.
Little 1-2-1 spread across the map, south side, maybe having a little more pressure lean towards it, but Kaiser, Peach able to pair and take care of everything, so the spawns are going to be top left. Next hard point in about 15 seconds. We're going to go to the bottom right-hand side, so you're going to have to work across the majority of the map if you're Mars Hill. If you can spend some time here and there, sure, why not? But really, the effort's being concentrated towards the back. Zuner does get picked by Peach on a 4 spree as well, so you've done a great job off this break, not only to get 30 seconds of time off new, but again, you haven't given Mars Hills any lanes to get good looks at breaks.
Oh, Peach on 6 in a row. How about that for him? 8-1 so far to start out this Colossus hard point. One of the things that we talked about for this Wichita State roster is how good Peach has been year over year and has continued to improve. And well, although he doesn't connect and find that streak immediately, the big news here is that Wichita State had the spawn. So now you look to the backside of Mars Hill trying to push their way forward. Aaron's going to be able to connect on one. You have the split pitch that's coming through. Pistol Challenge won't connect. Peach stays alive in the back. Probably not for long, though. And there it is. AG fine.
And the first look at actual time for Mars Hill, it's 30 seconds, it's already being contested, but this is the first look through 2 hard points now that Mars Hill was able to get some kind of clean time, and even then, after the dust settles, everyone battered and bruised for the moment, and another wave surging. So they have yet to really chain anything together for significant points. Sure, it's only a 20-point lead. This transition to P3 going to be a big one. They haven't won any big kills in transition. Finally, a break there Zuner's going to give them for the moment. We'll see if they can rally that into any kind of points.
It's going to be big on P3. You got a full top spread across the map. What Wichita State are looking to do here is spread the bottom, try to push out yellow, and then set up a pinch play here. And it's all starting to develop right before our eyes. Exotic the first one up on the gunfight there. Kaiser there over the top for help with the AR support. Looking for another one. It's Deucer and Peach on the back end who finally make that pinch stick through. There's only one player left alive bottom blue side, and as he wraps around, you're going to find Zuner getting one. But inside of green, you've got so many players from Wichita State who are staying alive and being able to continuously contest for the play.
Another 4 down. Clearance completely. I mean, again, we talk about when teams get 4 down, right? That's 10, 15, 20 seconds of time for you. And that's exactly, and that's just so important because you do that 2 or 3 times a map. That's 45 seconds. That's almost a near hill just off of getting a clean kill feed. So Wichita State understand the importance of this, and you can see just the way they're playing. They're not consolidated. They're not playing scared. They're not, not aware of what they want to do. They're going out, okay, we're going to get out on rotation now. I trust that we're going to win these gunfights. And even if we lose them, well, okay, it's for 4 seconds. We applied enough pressure there to force them to have to come for it. And now with the 2-point lead over at New, you fall for the initial bit of gunfights. You clean up the rest, so you're going to wrap back, be back in time. Mars Hill, just really no answer.
Peach gives the spark. The rest of the teammate following suit. Backside, you can see where the spread is. You got the hard block from Kaiser. And the deep side of yellow, playing around Stone. You got a full spread. Problem is, though, Mars Hill winning the gunfights on the north side of the map, trying to push out Kaiser in the back line and Deucer as well. AG's going to take that first gunfight challenge, doesn't realize that Deucer is fully pushed into the back line, and that's just a creative bait and switch play out of Wichita State that gives them the spawns.
Deucer, another one on the player through the flank. At Mars Hill, you can see what they want to do. They just want to throw something different. They want to send all these players not through the flank. They're going to have 2 people looking for that pitch to hit. So you're going to take numbers to the back and try to win them with Peach. I mean, shooting lasers right now, I thought kind of snapped for the moment, but ends up getting killed. Aaron also going to get exotic. So you're through to the back line. You still have 1 more to clean up, and AG does just that. But again, for 10 seconds of time, Alex, they have not gotten anything of substance here. I mean, it's a near 100-point lead.
I mean, the rotations have been not bad. Mars Hill's been getting out on rotation. It's just Wichita State are doing everything to command the map the way that they want to. Whether it's a delayed pinch play that allows them to get bodies into position and then really collapse on a hard point, or just play for the spawns immediately and then worry about getting back to the hill later. Yeah. The gunfights that are being won through the front by Kaiser, by Peach, are just incredible all around. So Wichita State, yes, they continue to build on this lead. For Mars Hill, it's all about starting this comeback now. AG's popped too, so some significant pressure coming onto Wichita State. Let's take a listen to their comms and see how they're affecting it.
Nice shot.
Watch out. Yo, he's close on me. One shot, 2 shots.
Then anytime.
One more outer. Statue.
I'm here with you.
He's top
On top statue.
Okay. I have a shot.
Let's try and get spawns. Let's try and keep spawns.
Nice, one shot P1 AG. I need help.
I have real plan.
Yeah, we contact.
Statue. One shot time.
I'm dead. Time on me. He's pushing through blue.
Blue dead.
I
Statue, it's fine. They're spawning with you. They're spawning P4.
Yeah, I'm behind one right now.
On the front, yes, on the front for you. I detonate front. True. P1, one shot. Aaron, he's half. I'm a shot.
One statue.
Two.
I have your outer. I can help your outer. I'll spawn. Statue, line of statue.
One shot on you. Nice.
I'm pushing up. Stay.
Blue. Weak. Half health. Side door.
One shot. You're two front.
Statue. Nice. Stay down. Don't ever shot, Tyler. I have your inner shell.
I got needed outer.
One's beyond.
Good.
Got you. I'm up with you. I don't see him. Oh, I got needed again. I need your push. Don't push.
I got inner shell. I just fucking shot the bullshit. On top.
I spawn yellow.
Spawn the back. Okay. Play green. I'm just being annoying. It's really not weak.
I'm trying to get through brain through stat.
They're gonna go P4, okay? They're gonna
Nothing
front at all. Definitely gonna play stat. I spawned I saw intercept you.
Stat on me. One shot. One more on me weak. Low green right now. Aaron.
Pitch up P4, then pitch it.
I'm stuck.
Well, I'll be honest, the small talk between Wichita State players has been phenomenal throughout most of this. There's nothing about complaints anywhere along the lines of, oh, I'm dying here, I'm dying there. There's nothing that I could really nitpick out of those comms that I think is anything really bad right now. And you can see the disparity starting to continue to grow once again. 169 dice to 96. On the flip side, kind of reverse dice. How do you ever say that? I'm not exactly sure. But Deucer now pushing his way forward once again, fully clearing out that north side of the map. It's something that Wichita State have done so well. It's really not P3.
Moments now where Mars Hill are going to have to find themselves a way in. With 30 seconds left, you cannot let this go passively. You need to find a way to get in, get time, and get rotation. It's starting to be moments where we haven't seen it for the entirety of the map, but they're going to have to string something together. They have yet to chain a back 20 into a front 20. They have yet to chain anything more than a handful of seconds for 15 seconds off rotation.
This could be it right here, though. Just got to delay this push that Wichita is hitting directly inside the point. Good jump challenge around. The only problem with this right now is that player 4 and Exotic has slipped the net and gotten through. You're still going to get those deep left spawns, though. So 3 players on 1 with a double now coming in from Stone. Deucer directly on the chase, flying in forward. First gunfight, 1 directly inside of yellow. Side cut dead. Second up to challenge now for Mars Hill is still pressure here in the back line. Kaiser stays alive, plays it through P3, fully flips it around. That might have been game.
And the way they're slaying right now has just been... mean, insanity to watch. The scoreline's devastating, but looking at the score column, there's no one that can hang with the likes of Peach, Kaiser, Exotic. I mean, again, Deucer is doing the same with Hilltime as well, but they just don't have an answer. They're getting gunned around the map, and what's that letting Wichita State do? Sure, get a lot of time, but I mean, just looking at the scorecard, there is no one that can hang with the pace they're playing. Wichita State have come out and stunned so far in map 1. Is it over? No. Is it really, really close? You could argue.
Aaron, good for 1. Gonna need this 15 seconds and a whole lot more time. Seems pretty common at this point in time of what we've been trying to say for Mars Hill throughout the entirety of this map 1. As Deucer falls and Dinner's there for a trade, this might be the look that Mars Hill needed to at least get some time here early on in P1. Completely different looking roster than we saw before. Kaiser almost pops the 3-piece, but Aaron weakened up, although is able to find Peach. You got Deucer in bottom middle, almost gets turned on by Zuner, still survives with 71 HP, but hey, better time than no time, right?
Slide chow, bait switch comes in, Exotic gonna get the cleanup, they're gonna have the numbers, 37 seconds to fight for. Again, they have to let this go, but they have to keep the right side control, so really the ball is in the court of Wichita State to throw different looks. They can get out on rotation when they want. They can apply pressure. As long as they're playing middle map, Mars Hill has to respect that and play middle map as well. They can't bleed out into new, so once they get this wave of kills, it sits great for the moment, but there's still 2 players here, so again, you don't get the setup you love if you're Mars Hill because you have to respect the scoreline.
We've seen Exotic play well online, but I don't think we've seen him play this good in a while. And I think he's just excited to be back on LAN here. Got the rest of the boys here with him. Everybody frying. It's going to be a 1-second difference on this. And as Kaiser is on the rotation out there, it is going to be Mars Hill who hold on for the time being. 100-point deficit, trying to climb out of it here. 2 hills they would need to string together perfectly. Wichita State wouldn't be allowed any sort of contention or any time at all. However, that seems as futile as trying to turn the sun blue. As Zuner turns around on the back end side, you still got players spawning in here from Wichita State. It's all just delaying the inevitable right now.
Tense developing, this gunfight starting to get won through mid-map. You're able to at least make a little bit of it. Back and forth it goes, but Kaiser gets the lion's share of the gunfight. Going to get the win for the numbers. 2 points for the good for Wichita State in map 1 to come out. And I don't want to say the word shock, but I mean, I feel like I have to fall into the trap. Was it a shock, or more so, like you were saying, was it just Wichita? Hey, look, they're excited to get out here and play. If today's not anything, anyone can come out and show up. So I can't even say that it's really, you know, a quote-unquote upset at this point, just being map number 1.
Dude, Wichita State are pissed off right now.
Yeah.
They feel like they should not be down 0-1 inside of the standings at the moment. And this is kind of one of those moments where they're going up against the Mars Hill roster where you're like, okay, everybody's talking really good about Mars Hill. People are saying, oh, Mars Hill really has a chance this weekend, us included. And I think there's like a specific narrative there that like Wichita State almost get disrespected in a way by people because they don't necessarily look at them and say, oh, that's a top performer. That's a Sunday contender at a Wichita State. I mean, you and I have kind of almost omitted them from conversations with them at times just because we feel like the 4 strongest teams are the teams that we kept highlighting with Oklahoma Christian, with St. Clair, with Mars Hill, and of course with Fisher. So it's like, now we look at a team like Wichita State and we say, okay, great map 1. Obviously this is going to define the entirety of the series. What was the one thing that we were told in the interview from Lucho? We're going to have fun Nesloing everybody.
Yeah.
So they got to be afraid of the Neslo. They got to respect the Neslo. In this moment, they're going to need a Nest.
Yeah, that is going to be a way that they have to reel it back and get it done. And for him saying that they love that, yeah, I don't think Mars Hill is super tweaked out at map 1. I don't think they're happy with how map 1 went at all. That's definitely not something you would expect out of them. And that's not to put down what what Wichita State went out and did. I mean, again, we were calling to the slaying performance about, 60% of the way through the map, saying there is just a discrepancy that cannot be answered. Everyone going negative. And sure, does a plus-negative KD matter in the grand scheme of things? No, but it paints a picture of the scoreline too. You know, it's a 90-point game. How? They were getting gunned at every turn. You know, it just seems like you said, we hadn't seen Exotic shoot like this in quite a while. On LAN, everyone has come together and playing well. That's what you want to see, everyone firing at the same time, to the same capacity. Deucer puts down 90 seconds in the hard point. Everyone plus or minus 60 seconds. So just an all-around good team performance. And for Mars Hill, I think what Lucho said, where we got to listen in with Wichita State, and like you said, the small talk was almost perfect. Sure. I mean, they were really tagging everything that they needed to around the map. Nothing, got past them. And for Lucho, we didn't get to hear that camp, but he talks about how sometimes they'll get lazy in the comms, and they'll kind of let things go. And I think with how well Wichita State was playing, I would think that Mars Hill on the other side of things were missing quite a few things. And Lucho said that is a tendency they have. They'll get lazy in their comms, and they won't really tell everything they need to. And I think they can get a map result like that. So I don't think they're shocked that if things were lazy or, you know, kind of sloppy on their end, that a map goes like this. I definitely think they're dissatisfied. But I think they know that, hey, if we don't come out sharp, yeah, this can happen to us. We are not immune to something like that.
Just taking a look at the rest of the replay package that we have here from map 1. And man, if Kaiser would have got that 3-piece, that would have been insane. But unfortunately, it doesn't. Regardless, I mean, they take a nice map 1 victory, so you're not going to be too upset at the end of the day. But again, the slaying disparity that you mentioned beforehand already, the NTKs, the split of hill time for the Wichita State roster, completely different look than we saw on Mars Hill. Because for Mars Hill, one of the things that we saw immediately from them was in that first series that they played with the previous series that we saw them play, it was minute and 20 seconds for everybody across the board. They weren't able to effectively even get to the hard point for the first half of the game. And when they did get to the hard point, it wasn't like everybody was able to just kind of like revolve in and out with multiple kills going their way. It was like, all right, well, if we're at the hill, we maybe got like 1 or 2 people left, and we're just kind of playing in fight or flight survival mode, spawning across the map and just trying to hold a front here. Because Wichita State, behind Peach, especially in the early portion of the game where he was like 15-6, and then continued to fry for the rest of the game, then not only did Exotic tee up halfway through it, but you had then Kaiser at the end of the game who went nuclear. So you had a 3-stage process, almost like a rocket, where you had the initial blast from Peaches that got him off the ground, then you had the thrusters activated, then everything fell off, and then it was just like, all right, well, Kaiser, take us to the moon. And that's how Wichita State take map 1. So I'm really, really liking what I saw out of map 1. Obviously, that doesn't translate immediately directly into a search and destroy map 2, but regardless, I think it's still important to highlight a lot of what Wichita State did that was good, because I feel like a lot of the times you and I at least have watched them on broadcast, it's been really heartbreaking losses to some really good teams.
Absolutely. And again, it's not like you talked about, you know, kind of omitting them from that Sunday conversation. And every team here, you and I have said, you know, all 8 teams can show up and play Sunday. It's not even no mission to the sense of they don't feel like they can get there. It's talking about, like you said, the high points of these other teams. Wichita State have very high highs. And this map 1 sure isn't a microcosm of what we know they can do in a series. Yes, they still have work to do in front of them. But Wichita State's team, like you said, is their disrespect felt in a sense that people have said bad things to them? No, but they feel like they've been left out of conversations. They're like, hey, we're here this weekend. We're going to show you why we do stand a very real chance to make it to Sunday. Why we believe we'll make it to Sunday. I think a lot of LAN weekends, it's important to touch on the intangibles of just the atmosphere of being here. You're in person with everyone. Of course, playing, you know, at facilities and stuff is one thing, but when you're here with your opponent across, you know, the stage or the table from you, it just adds a little, like an edge to the competition, right? You know they're sitting right there. You want to go out and get the win. I think Wichita State's kind of playing with that chip on their shoulder in a sense, and they want to come out here and put on a strong series. Opened up with a 1-0 advantage in the series in the hard point. Now we see a fringe for the first time today in search and destroy. What do we have? Passive to start. Who's going to make the first mistake?
All right, Lucho, put your money where your mouth is. Talk about the Neslo. Let's act on the Neslo. Tie this thing up at 1 apiece. Now, laying down inside, over on the B side. Wants to go ahead and find Peaches on the out right-hand side, and that's just beautiful. You can't play that any better. Semtex immediately there, push at the same time, force the gunfight out. You win the 1v, now give your team a 4 versus 3, and now everybody's kind of just stacked up over at the A site. You got 2 watching that cut if you want to push all the way through, but they're just going to go ahead and bang it out here inside of A, and it looks like it's going to be respect for Wichita State as they back off.
I was going to say they just completely back out of the site. That's going to give Exotic eyes on someone, but you don't get the kill. That allows the close chow to come through. You have a teammate in tandem, though, so you might be able to get 1. You'll get 2 for the good. Wow. And now as a couple players fall, the defuse being popped. You've got 2 players here, no one to check it.
We got the player off the bomb. Azuna was able to find Deucer. Now the full wrap all the way back inside of 10. Might just give him a light of day. Potentially go for the clutch, and I believe he didn't see anybody on the bomb. So now he's just going to lay down with 20 seconds left. This is a very winnable round, because if you're Mars Hill, you think, I'm Gucci here. If you're Wichita State, all of a sudden you think, oh, we already cleared out 10. There's no way he's going to be 10. And then he wraps all the way back around 10. But it's just it planted in a great spot for him not to be able to have anything off of it. So bada bing, bada boom. Wichita State bounce back.
I'm excited to see how the search and destroy does play out, because again, these interviews we've had have been so cool, because it's a nice little like insight into the player mind of kind of what the team camp is feeling to this point. So just calling to what Luca had said in that interview, or what Lucho had said in that interview was, look, people play around us playing fast. Yep. That first round was passive. The first thing I thought of was Wichita State's waiting for Marcel to flight them. Exactly. Lucho's like, we know Wichita State is waiting for us to flight them. So I think we're going to see a lot of that in this search and destroy, where Mars Hill is going to not overthink their game plan, but they're just going to try to not play what other teams are expecting. They didn't get the round 1 for it. But here, just another passive start, not the high-octane pace that we see Mars Hill play with. Does that come to be a pain point for them? Well, we'll have to find out. But for the moment, trades go even. Bomb working towards A.
I think it goes back to what you were saying about just like don't trade the rounds.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna pass the play style. Now why not? Exotic outside. Check back right. 2 bodies have been spotted and info has been gained. If you're Exotic right now, you are not giving that one up easily. But you'll finally go ahead and subside to the backside, rewrap the spawn. Check over half wall, find a hop. Get some positioning while the rest of your team is working up on the B site. AG knows that a couple are going to be there. Doesn't expect to get ripped immediately by Kaiser, who is looking directly through the top window. Bomb goes down here. Now it's up to Mars Hill to be able to retake this Aaron and Lunar. Zuner?
Oh, jeez. I mean, just good trigger discipline. You know exactly where Zuner's going to be. Even if you lose this gunfight, your teammate knows exactly where he is. I mean, Wichita State, yeah. Happy with the 2 rounds they've been able to take.
You know how checky that is when you like look across the stage and you just see your opponent just like
laughing.
Smiling and laughing. Because right now this is like this is Wichita State in a moment of like, okay, well this is kind of like rudimentary child's play in a way. After map 1, you're sitting there like, okay, that was a breakdown. The first 2 rounds of the S&D. Yeah, we're winning gunfights, breaking them down. There's not much that they can do to stop us. And they're not feeling any sort of pressure applied to them at the moment. Because Mars Hill, the reason that they've been so good throughout a lot of the matches that they've played throughout this weekend and throughout the year is that the opponents that they're playing against feel the applied pressure of pace. When Wichita State isn't able to feel any of that and they have free reign to take wherever they want on the map, then it's just a matter of winning the gunfights. And they've shown that they can do that time after time again.
And of course, Fringe, like you said, you do see bang out here and there on some of these sites, but I would like to see Mars Hill turn up the tempo a little bit. You've got Lucho in a pretty aggressive position and going to get rewarded for it for first blood. I have a nade. I don't love that play. Of course, you're just trying to get it off and see if you can get the timing, but you get the first blood. You go back 3-3, so now you're kind of back to a standstill of, okay, we do it all over again. You didn't quite get an advantage out of it. You gave up the B-bomb site because you really didn't have control. Again, I just feel like Mars Hill, I don't want to say hesitant's the word, but they're definitely being very cautious. And that could also just be playing to Fringe, right? Sure. But they definitely haven't cut loose here on this map yet through at least 2.5 rounds.
Well, we're playing in bunches now. 3 up middle, 3 on site. Exotic, if you get the best timing in the world, you do. But you trigger discipline your way directly into giving info away. So now Azuna looks to the opposite side. Wrap. Aaron's able to slide back. Great movement. Finds Deucer. Gives him a 3 versus 2 advantage. First time Mars Hill's really had the man advantage in quite some time throughout this series. And as I say that, John Exotic's able to pop for 2. Survives with 11 HP. Back up to 100 now. 23 seconds left on a challenge and a chase. Going to wrap all the way back to the backside of 10. This is going to take a lot of time. Very ballsy, very gutsy play here, but it might just work out for him. He's going to spot the player out. Gunfight 1! John Exotic once again has to go for the defuse as well. Going to be there in enough time. And how about it?
You said it was gutsy. Maybe not even the exact words you used, but
ballsy.
He even saw him too. He turned and saw him there. But just like you said, at every turn, Wichita State's winning gunfights.
Yep.
That's what's coming. I mean, that was a 1v1. You just got gunned. You saw him. Sure, you turned and had to end up looking back, but you just lost a gunfight is what it was. And Wichita State right now, we're absolutely vibing. You can see the camp every time we cut to player camps. They are just getting, well, peachier and peachier on the side of the camp floor. Yeah, you had to do it. Low-hanging fruit. That's also a pun. So let me just pass it on to you, dog.
Well, how about we pass to the Kaiser first? Drop Zuner like a mic. And now you hop up, tops out of barn. Got a Hellstorm in hand. Plenty of utility to use if you're Wichita State. Do you recognize that AG's all the way through the back line? He got the best timing in the world, or did he? Deucer pops out. Peach says, I want to get on the board for some fun. And now it's a 1 versus 3 with Lucho, who's got 3 HP to his name, and a challenge out the backside where he's going to get knocked off the board. How about count them 1, 2, 3, 4. Something LeBron never got in Miami. That's 4 straight rounds.
Had to do it to him, didn't you?
I love it, bro. My glorious king. You see him last night against those Rockets. Watching COD. Can't start fantasizing about LeBron tonight.
We'll be seeing Game 7 soon enough.
Back up top. Here we go. Bomb in the hands of Zuner. Mars Hill down 0-4. for a team that has talked about being an Eslo roster, this has been an embarrassing set of rounds here. But finally, we'll get a first blood here out of the hands of Lucho. He's the only one that's really come out to show something. 5-4. Rest of the team, 3 kills combined with 12 deaths. Peach on the back rock, very hard head glitch to try and take care of. He's going to get so much information, gets away from the sniper, so you know that 3 bodies are there. You've seen all 3. You can give the rest of your team and say, hey, they're coming over towards B. We just need to make sure we lock down the last person.
But it's quick out of Mars Hill, and that's something we haven't seen from them. You get the first blood, you clear the lane, you go and plant objectives. So a change of pace, though not super dramatic, one that Mars Hill needs to lean into a little bit more. And now because they have the element of surprise, guess what? They have a better advantage in those gunfights. That felt like a Mars Hill round. Guess what? They won it. Now that they maybe get a taste for, you know what, let's just, if we're gonna call play, let's just do it. You know, let's not overthink it. Let's just go out and do what we need to do. You pull out the sniper, you get the first blood, another one in the round. Again, it just felt, I'm not saying it was a lull in a sense, but like you said, Wichita State had the freedom to make whatever decision around the map they wanted. Mars Hill didn't apply any pressure. There, they get a first blood, open it up, and now Wichita State has to adjust to what they imposed offensively. Yep. You want to see Mars Hill do more of the same. Of course, they can't hear us saying any of that, but I'm assuming as viewers too, you would like to see them, if you are a Mars Hill fan, kind of turn up the pace a little bit, replicate more of what just happened.
Like what I'm saying here over by 10. Just making sure they can't get pressure on A. Holding the lane back. The only thing that they don't have right now is mid, but Aaron places a Semtex perfectly onto Deucer. Opens up the round completely. 4-3 Mars Hill now. Minute left to play. You retrieve the bomb if you are exotic. I think you might have spotted one out inside of the A site. So can you get to B without getting killed by AG in the backline with a sniper?
I think he saw the glint and said, you know what? Maybe not.
I think I'm good.
But just, again, you have pressure that side of the map. What's that going to do? It's going to force Wichita State out, and they have to pick another avenue. Trigger discipline comes through. You calm that one is there. You haven't seen anyone else cross, so now it's on Mars Hill. They're able to make a play on the site. Zuner knows if he looks, he can get the planner.
Here was the one who made the move first. Jump out the window. If you're Peach, you find the trade. You go 2 for 2 on it. And now Lucho's in the back line once again trying to prove himself worthy. 7-4 for himself. Rest of the team starting to come alive. Peach, 17 seconds left. Has to go for the gunfight. Thought he was still up top. Instead, it's 2 players playing down low. So hold your horses here. 4 rounds straight now countered by 2. Mars Hill starting to get some momentum.
It just looked like more familiar Call of Duty than what we've seen. And maybe that's just them kind of settling into it, saying, you know, I can hear in my head what you would call Lucho doing. We just troll around sometimes. And I'm not saying they trolled 4 straight. Wichita State definitely went out and took it to them.
Definitely trolled a couple, though.
They definitely trolled a couple. They definitely trolled a couple. But now, like you said, it was 1-4 across the board for everyone else. Now we're looking at a 5-5, a 2-5. So, again, getting the ball rolling here, like you said, momentum being garnered. And in Search and Destroy, if you can compound that, all of a sudden you can rip off a few more rounds. Opting to keep the sniper out as well. Again, that's just going to keep Wichita State guessing as they turn corners, as they peek windows.
Good night, Peach. Do you have any more in store for us, Lucho? I would love to learn how to say night in Spanish, because I forgot it.
Noche.
Noche. There it is. Thank you. Deucer on the ramp pack through spawn. This is giving so much space to Mars Hill right now. I believe that there was a streak used. Exotic just gets caught off guard as AG slides to the door. I mean, that's just great bait and switch. You can't be upset about that. Where was this in the first few rounds? I guess it really doesn't matter at this point with a 2v4. Kaiser can't find it. You get traded immediately. Deucer will throw the smoke, waiting for the wrap back all the way around. And instead of pushing this, Mars Hill just going to back off. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
And Deucer has to slide out, try to take a gunfight, but you have teammates overlooking. Again, you and I both kind of in that round saying, you know, I love it, or great play, and that's not because we're biased casters, but Mars Hill stepped so far away from their identity that, you know, you were wondering, like, you know, what kind of search and destroy they're doing? Is Wichita State throwing them this much off their game? And Wichita State is still playing good search and destroy. It was 4 straight rounds for Wichita State. Mars Hill made a big adjustment. 3 straight rounds for Mars Hill. Then you start to get into this chess battle of, okay, it's our turn to make it. What are we going to do now as Wichita State to get some kind of favor back on our side?
1-3 split on the defense. Lucho and the Mars Hill Lions going to send 3 directly at the push that's coming out here. It's just going to be a full-on bang out. Aaron finds the first. It's all 4 dead. Very reminiscent of what we saw in the Plaza Search and Destroy earlier on today where it was just a straight bang out. They go 4 for 1. So as quickly as we saw Wichita State take the first 4 rounds of this Search and Destroy, that entire buffer they built for themselves no longer matters as it is back tied up 4-4. First to 2 rounds takes map 2.
And everyone to this point, again, I'm just looking at the scorecard because it was such a glaring sight that only 3 players had 1 kills. And since then, yeah, they've completely turned it around. Now, you know, on the other side, imagine some Wichita State players only having 1 kill since their 4-round burst. But Lucho and Sniper being very effective. Again, just backing players down. And Mars Hill filling lanes behind it. That is just their bread and butter in Search and Destroy. And he gets eyes on people, even if he doesn't hit the shots. Hey, 2 just cross street. You guys will have your handful in a second. They wisely back off the site. Wichita State's going to try to turn and apply pressure. We'll see if they get anything for it. But again, wisely, Mars Hill have backed up. So now they're going to see if Wichita State overextends.
And they're going to have to try and force something here. You want to try and play for a 1v gunfight that you can cut off, that you can find somewhere else. You put a sniper in middle map, you send 2 bodies middle map, and all of a sudden, when Mars Hill have the actual confidence to push a lane out, you mentioned it perfectly. They go directly through the B window, they fly into the site, and then Deucer just gets caught with his smoke in his hand again as he tries to just throw it to get out and play his life. They're just going to run you down every time. They have the confidence now. They're winning the gunfights. Beforehand, where you had them backs against a wall, you needed to apply the pressure and keep them second-guessing their own game plan. Now that they've gotten the rhythm, now that they've gotten the flow, they've taken 5 straight rounds on you. Constantly peppering you, constantly battering you, and now it's back to an offensive hit here where if you're Deucer and the rest of the gang pushing up, you've got to find this first blood.
8-team spree between 2 players, AG and Lucho. Sure, Deucer, you do get the first blood, but Aaron on an indirect trade. Juno get another one, pistol out, and he's just flying at it. Now he's going to try to get out, but dancing around. Again, you get a teammate in place. Each is able to pick one, so give it just a second. As maybe you're thinking that kill shouldn't come through. 2v2.
I mean, that whole play there was Zuner backing off, trying to give Lucho a free kill. And I don't know if Lucho just got caught on a terrible timing or just didn't expect the immediate challenge with the pistol on him. But all of a sudden, that looked completely different. And around that was a 3v2. Man advantage for Mars Hill. Very winnable now here for Wichita State. You've got the sniper. You've got the SMG for Kaiser. On the opposite end, you've got help out with an AR2. So now it's a 2-2 split for Mars Hill on the opposite side. I believe they know that bomb is down inside of top barn. Kaiser rips Sooner. And now AG's the last alive who was on 4 in a row. 20 seconds left in the round. Looking for the push out now. What's the timing like here? He spots Peach out. Is able to find the 1v on the first. It's a direct challenge inside of the shed. What a read by Exotic. Saves the round. We go round 11 for the first time here on LAN.
And that was really your only option there. I think Exotic realized you cannot let him get away in that moment. Sure, you could get bombed down, but you would leave the round not up to chance in a sense. But if you know he's there, know he's weak, yeah, you've got to chase that out. So just a heads-up play, like you said, to force this the distance, to get your first round win in a while, and now put yourself at a point where, okay, 1 round does us both end, but we at least stop the bleeding as far as that 5-round spurt win.
Just remember, every map that's lost, every map that's won counts towards a potential head-to-head to make it into Sunday. So if you're Wichita State here, already losing 1 map, you would love a clean 3-0 here over Mars Hill. The job still needs to be done, and S&D's round still ahead of them. Sniper out towards middle map, going to get info that at least one is top barn, but Exotic gets too aggressive and is cut down by Zuner, who now looks down on the rest of the site. This is going to have to be 2 offenses back-to-back for Wichita State to be won. It's going to be tough.
I feel like you're not stuck in sight in a sense, but you're really just hoping you were trying to bait some kind of retaliation out of Mars Hill, see if they would jump, try to overtake B in its entirety, but they let it sit. You still know where Zuner's going to be. AG, you're figuring, is playing this heady. The sniper at least gets intel on one. You know a flank could be coming. It's slow developing out of Lucho. And you can tell because Peach is looking around waiting for something. Really, whatever player gets a pick from Mars Hill, that's what you're pushing through.
There it is. Aaron will be the first to fall. You throw a nade towards the top, and the sniper gives up the entire back lane. Now it has to come down to Deucer, not only to be able to find the trade, but Peaches to be able to be there as well. 15 seconds left. Lucho, snap back left. 13 seconds left out towards middle. AG has to go for the challenge and can't win it. After winning 5 straight rounds, after an 0-4 deficit, Mars Hill gets to round 11, and they choke.
Peach finding that kill was just that was everything. It spoiled exactly what Mars Hill wanted to do. They were so waiting on Lucho to get in a position to be a little aggressive and work a pick, or if Lucho could get one from behind. Someone fell before that, and that completely flips on his head because now that makes Lucho have to come out of positioning faster than he would have liked to. Has to make him get in the mix, chase for kills. Called it over aggressive on the first blood with Zuner. They end up getting the round back for it. I mean, Mars Hill won all of the first bloods but 2 is what jumped out to me, and they sold the first 3 is what I'm seeing. The 5 rounds they won all came down to kills. I mean, sure, they had, bomb plan and stuff in certain instances. When it rains, it pours for Mars Hill.
8-2 in first bloods and losing 6-5 in around 11 is nuts. Like, genuinely think back to a series that you can point to, not only you, Amber, but just like anybody that's watching this at home right now. Think of the last time you saw a series like this where you could figure out and pick out even 3 rounds of the team that won or the team that lost getting either 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be. The most you'll probably get is probably like 3 first bloods.
Yeah.
That's it. The fact that they got 8 comparatively to the 3 for Wichita State
when it comes back
is nuts.
It comes back to the
look at the first 4 first deaths for Peach. Kaiser and Deuce are only 1 first blood apiece.
Aaron and Zuner getting blooded 1 time each the entirety of it. It just goes. I don't know. For me, it goes back in that Wichita State did just enough those opening rounds, and it could have been Mars Hill in their own head. Sure, I'm not going to try to over speculate, but Wichita State, just reading the map in front of them. We have space. We're going to take it. Did we get blooded? Yeah, but we're not going to immediately back off the site, or we're going to double child play for the player. They stretched bomb. We knew it was planted. We're going to play here to defuse. I'm looking over you. So even when they were down bodies, they still had high IQ ways to walk away with a round win, even if they were at a man disadvantage. Or a first blood only tells you that they got the first kill, right?
Sure.
It doesn't tell you how, the rest of the round or the mid round played out. So though they started 9 out of 11 rounds at a man disadvantage, the mid round obviously shaped out well enough for them. I mean, again, those 5 round stretches where it came down to kills and first bloods, Marcel just ran through. But Wichita State, the first 3, at this stage, you cannot. I don't want to say throwaway rounds because again it talks about omitting that Wichita State in that conversation. But you can't lose 3 straight.
Yeah.
And then expect to be in a good position later down the line. And that's what happened to Mars Hill. They lost the first 3 rounds, put themselves in a really bad spot. And then sorry, but scammed round 11. They had the advantage and
I just the thing that I wonder is, once that bomb went down, I initially thought, I'm like, okay, I like the play top red, not to challenge that out immediately, because somebody's probably going to be watching over that window if somebody's coming off the bomb. And so, those are the 2 most likely places to be playing. I question how long it took to get everything set up when you're in a 4v3.
Yeah.
And if you're Lucho making that flank all the way through the back line, I just either it needs to be faster or the rest of the teammates need to make the noise immediately so you can play faster. Because the thing is if you're playing the flank, you never want to be the first one to engage, right? If you're the first one to initiate on the flank, then 90% of the time, the rest of your teammates are going to be able to be turned around back on immediately because that flank that's coming through, you're going to hit one, but everybody's going to then turn around, and then it's like, okay, well, now that we've got you, we can just find where your teammates are because we know they're going to be over-aggressive. If your teammates are pushing through the front, and then while that's happening, they're the diversion for you to slip in and get in, perfect. And I know that's exactly what the play was there. That's what they wanted to do. It just didn't develop in enough time, and in a 4v3, you have to have that. Now, let's not take away from the breakdown that was Wichita State losing 4 or 5 straight rounds after going up 4-0, because that was almost one of the worst performances in the second half of an S&D that I've seen in quite some time. So thank God they were able to come back and clutch that one up in a lot of those necessary poor situations.
Yeah, we'd be having a very different conversation just based off of 1 round, honestly. It's them sending it to round 11 definitely absolved a lot of sins in that search and destroy. But we'll move on from it. If you are just joining, boy, does this not tell the story of the series to this point. You are definitely missing some context clues somewhere around the middle of both of these maps, 1 and 2. But Wichita State, Colossus Hardpoint, the first map, again, the 161 points earned were pretty much in the middle portion of that hardpoint. The beginning, very slow start. By the time it came to where they were finding footing, similar to the search and destroy, Wichita State just turned on the afterburners and closed it out. Same thing can be said here. in map number 2, and now we get tripled in. Lucho, the interview, again, you've got to pull from the conversations that we've had with these players, right? It's just what comes to mind, getting this insight. He said, no matter what situation we're in going into map 3, we're going to have one map. That's their attitude about Overload, and specifically Overload on Den as well. He said no matter what it's looking like, whether it's to close the series, get a 2-1 advantage, start a reverse sweep, he's like, we are confident in our map 3. We know we can take it, and then we'll play from there. So for Mars Hill, based on what that team camp, is saying and feeling, this map feels like a lock to them. It has to be, of course, but that's how confident they are in their Overload gameplay, that this is assured for them. They've got tripled in as well.
Yep.
If there were 3 maps and there was a mode to kick that off, to make a redacted, this would be one you'd want to have if you're Mars Hill.
I was gonna say the one thing that I looked to at the back half of this series was like, okay, there's a triple den there. And if you know anything about this Mars Hill team and what we have talked about, not only through the course of this week, but just the season in general, is that slowly but surely den became a staple map within their rotation. It's, I don't want to say surprising that they allowed 3 dens to slip through. I'm just surprised that Wichita State was like, yeah, we'll play on den. And maybe they have a trick up their sleeve that I don't know at this point in time. The one thing I will say is when we looked at the overloads between these two teams in the vetoes, on this map specifically, the disparity really wasn't all that large between them, and that's one of the things that I think we pointed out to immediately was like, yeah, Wichita State, although they don't really have like a great goal differential per map that they've played here, they still are very, very good on this. I think it's like 7-2 is their record comparatively to Mars Hill's around roughly the same.
Yeah, and I think, kind of the point to go into this overload on is the goal discrepancy with Mars Hill in this. That, again, they can really just pour it on whenever they get things going. We've already seen that today. We'll see if we can see more of it here replicated. The battle from mid-map shakes down. It is going to be Wichita State with Kaiser left standing. It's going to try to push forward, get eyes on the players working off spawn. South side of the map getting worked on. Payload still in the middle of the map. It's going to be map advantage favoring Wichita State for the moment as Peach picks up another.
To the top side of Broken, AG clears the spawn out for the moment in time, but they're going to be able to grab this payload, bring it all the way south, and now it's all about the push. Can the lead blockers continue to find kills? Great Semtex nade will find Lucho on the backside. Exotic will try to jump across, almost gets there. Now there's only one player left alive in the back, and he's able to grab it, slide through. First score capped in by Wichita State.
Have yourself an opening break, Deucer. Started out on 5 and was able to get the scoop and score at the last moment. Any advantage you can get early, you're going to take. I thought Exotic was about to snap for 3 also. This entire series, Wichita State have been shooting. I'll say that in the respawns. Off to a good start here. Mars Hill just really vying and fighting out of spawn. AG's going to get a big 3-piece going just to give themselves some breathing room. As now it's their turn to try to work the map, try to work this objective. You need this kill here just to give yourself some space. That'll be the case. And now as AG looks to push this line forward, everyone in tow behind him. He falls. That slows things down. Peach gets a second. Can Aaron get a trade? Answer, yes. But you feel like this pinch is going to happen. These kills are going to come through. You think the play is sorted for the moment. Kaiser finally gets the last laugh.
Point coming into their middle map. You expect it from this Mars Hill roster on Den. Exotic looks to push forward. Kaiser following directly in the back line. The stun was almost perfect enough just to slow the push down. Unfortunately, though, for Mars Hill, they weren't able to get back over to B in time through spawn. So now it's all about the flip out. You got one inside of P2, now pushing through the front door. It's a 4 versus 2 on a trade. Now they're coming through. It's a 1v1 for the final bit of time. Exotic wins it here. Just going to wait, not grab this payload device just yet. Wants to lead block out. Ooh, you feel like you probably should have won that one against Lucho instead. It's a turn back around. That's going to thwart the push out.
And now with numbers flying forward, Deucer's going to get a couple. Whenever this kill feed goes, it fills up completely. Everyone running and gunning here early on in this respawn. Going to try to skip the payload, working towards the top side of the map this go round. Aaron's going to have to be the one to get a kill, and he can't.
Oh, wow.
Lucho, whew, thank goodness there on the cleanup. It just feels like that's what those moments are for Mars Hill at the moment. Just a sigh of relief when they can get that kill. 2 minutes left in the first round, or first half. Down 2-0. Really no map real estate to show for it at all. They have not gotten anything going, and we've seen shades of this before.
It's a good rap call, though. So it's out of 10. You've got 2 players there. P3 pushed now into Dojo. Kaiser walks away with the first blood engagement. Deucer has a Hellstorm to work with. Utility here for Wichita State to potentially use in that second half, but the 3 men that are all pushing their way forward are all from Mars Hill. Problem is Exotic tries to get behind. He wanted to go ahead, use the trigger discipline to his advantage, find the player with the device, and then kill everybody around to try and stop it. Instead, Mars Hill starting to come alive inside of middle map. Multiple kills going their way, trying to go ahead and force spawns out, which they love to do.
And then we got picked now. About 50 seconds or so of time, Lunar was just roaming around in the back. He got through on a flank. Did he get kills that influenced the scoring? No. But if Exotic had found that kill on the wrap, he was there to ensure the score got through. So, like you said, Mars Hill started to get some free-flowing kills going. Now they're starting to hit some of these routes. Wichita State still with a good spread here on this side of the map. Mars Hill showing signs of what they want to do here. Southside emphasis control, but the bomb's going to work through. And now with the kill, you have 1 man left standing to make this happen. Can you win the 1v? Finally, AG does get one going, so they're going to scoop, look to push this forward.
3 down south, 1 up middle. Trying to be the catalyst to maybe get something into the opposite side. On an offensive play here for Mars Hill. Wichita State still spawning deep. They've got full P3 coverage. And the play that went through middle map in Zuner, the play wasn't bad. It just didn't develop again fast enough. And this is allowing Wichita State to respond on the opposite end. Lucho's the only one here by tower trying to hold off this push to the front. They've got 2 up through middle where John Exotic's able to find a trade. And yet the payload spawning directly in front of you. It's going to bounce back out middle though. And that might be a big kill from Zuner. This is going to fully clear them out. The problem is they have to be careful. The 2 players that are going to be flanking over from 10, but they're going to push this directly forward. Inside of computers, it's a 1v1 that Aaron wins. Now on the chase, you hope that he didn't get that final bullet in. The final tag from Exotic should shut this down. That might be the final score of the round.
Now you're just going to grab and fly. That's going to be 3. Just 1 player left standing. I think maybe if you get that kill, they get the scoop. Oh, and they're wrapping back to A. Oh, I like this play, but they're so close off spawn that really they can't make a bad choice there for Wichita State.
But if you wrap this over 10 and then you go back left as soon as your teammates move the spawn side and maybe give yourselves a chance out B, it could work out in some frivolous timing. Right-hand side, Deucer tries for some wall bang shots. 2 mount pushing over on the Mars Hill side. And that's going to end the half. Really anticlimactic there. I really thought we were going to get something cool.
You shaped it up well. I was excited.
I was excited to see like a last-minute push or something like that, but it's difficult in a 2v2.
Yeah. 1 half down. 1 score advantage for Wichita State. Is flat-footed the word I want to use in the response from Mars Hill to this point? I'm not sure. I'm really
I don't know if it's
some.
I don't know if it's flat-footed. I think what and correct me if I'm wrong. I think the biggest thing is that you're looking at this team expecting more out of them.
Yeah.
I think when you're expecting more out of them, you're expecting these plays to hit a lot quicker. I think it's just being underdeveloped in a lot of ways where either somebody's trying to force something out way too early or somebody's hitting something too late. And I think that's the difference that we're seeing right now out of what we typically would see out of a Mars Hill roster comparatively what we're seeing against Wichita State. I think this is a really bad matchup for them, to be honest.
And I think the counterpoint to that, or not even counterpoint, but caveat to talk about Wichita State in that regard is if Mars Hill is forcing something around the map, that leaves something open that is completely uncontested. And Wichita State, this series to this point, have done a great job reading and reacting to that. They're not overthinking it. What's open, we're going to take it. We're not going to second guess it. And if there's some point of contention, we'll handle it when we get there. But they are just free flowing around the map, and it shows. It feels forced. It feels rigid for Mars Hill. On Wichita State side, they feel more comfortable around the map. It feels more ebb and flowy. And that's why we see what we do so far.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like, that's why it feels to me like this is the perfect counter for Mars Hill, because Wichita State plays the same way that Mars Hill has been playing, where it's just very calculated. And guess what? They're just going to go directly for the spawn trap. They send 3 bodies through. 3rd capture on the board. First of the half here for Wichita State. They'll extend that lead back out to a buffer of 2. Peach now looking to push his way forward. It's going to be Lucho inside of computers. He falls into Hellstorm. But is it going to be enough to stop this push directly? It doesn't look like it. Actually, it is. The only one it finds is Kaiser. But the problem is they still have reinforcements coming through. Peach is in the back line. The spawn is there. And Aaron has an overextension route out. And they're going to spawn Dojo because of that. Now it's on the north side of the map. So if you're able to find the last player here in Zuner, which you are, now you can grab this. The 2 players that are lead blocking can continue to find kills. You may be able to rally this one through.
A breath for a moment. Job not done. Trades back and forth. Mars Hill just trying to stay alive, trying to at least keep bodies off of this payload. And that's all they've been doing is really on either side of things. Defense, defense, defense. They have yet to get offensive looks that, would be something they're satisfied with. maybe an opportunity here. As you try to clear things out, no clear lane deliver, everything's in Wichita State. I mean, they're content. They don't have to push. They don't want to.
Just waste time. Let Mars Hill come to you. Let the map develop. Or better yet, let them wrap all the way back through their spawn side. Really difficult to push in through B2 to get out to the A on the side that you are currently attacking if you're Mars Hill. Now the entire south side is completely open. The only problem is you're the only one down there and you are pushing this by yourself, and there's one player that's going to be on a close spawn. If you win the 1v1 gunfight with the pistol, awesome. But unfortunately, you lose it, and there's still 2 players on the reinforcements coming from behind. So now Wichita State says, okay, well, you want to wrap it through the bottom side of the map? We'll go to the north side of the map. And this is going to force an entire rotation. If you find Zuner inside of the window here, it's pretty much chalk. Zuner finds 2, and that forces them to stall out.
Pinch play. Marcel trying to get one going. You're stuck here. If you're Dusu for the moment, AG will at least clean it up. Payload looks to reset. You have numbers if you are Mars Hill, but I mean, call it numbers, call it map pressure, call it what you want. They have yet to do anything with it. Sure, you get a good look and kill feed. Still need 3 scores in less than 2 minutes.
You got away.
Got an opening here. A small one at that, but you can't lose any more bodies.
Oh, exotic. Trying to make quick work and mincemeat of his opponent. Instead, it was Zuner. He was able to pop 2 for it. Now you push the spawn side out. You got the pistol player there, and that should be a free cap as day, and it will be. 4 advantage now for the Wichita State Shockers, trying to close out a 3-0 series over the Mars Hill Lions. They talked about how good they were at being able to overtake the other team, play the Neslo, win the S&D, win the Overload. You think you have a guaranteed map 3 in your map set, all of a sudden, Wichita State comes out, smacks you in the mouth, and you haven't been able to respond since map 1.
And that's what we talk about. You come to LAN, you have to throw it all out the window. You really do. Who's going to show up and play in a given series? Wichita State have showed up in this series and played from start to finish. There has been no falter, no let up. We'll put a caveat in the search and destroy, but as we still have a few moments to close out this Overload, it has been about as good as you would like. As Peach, though for 25 and 25. Pretty plays on the screen.
They'll push forward. They'll allow the last player back, either to allow the payload to just completely reset, or to find a couple of kills, maybe even both at the exact same time. Team kill from Zuner on to Aaron. They go technically 1 for 1. They'll still continue to win some gunfights here around the map. But with 30 seconds left, it feels like it might just be over, and it might be too late for Mars Hill to make a significant pushback on this series. The grenade lands directly at the feet of Lucho, and this one is all but over. Thank you to the time limit up top for allowing us to keep playing this. I wish it would just end like it did in Domination back in the day, or like we wanted it to end in Domination back in the day. But regardless, with 8 seconds left, Wichita State opened up the day losing their first series. This time, however, they'll come out against Mars Hill, and I'll be honest, this one's kind of shocking to me, and I don't even mean that as a pun. This one, are you... Peach. We have the monologue, and then... All right, well, congratulations, Wichita State. We'll clap it up for them at the same time. Oh, what a surprise. What a sweet treat.
Man. Just that insult to injury.
Oh, man.
No, I will say, though, I will say surprising, right? You and I, it's fun to talk storylines, shape things up, and do the whole thing. But we also, you and I also do try to keep it real in the sense of who should come in and win a series. Mars Hill should have come in and won the series, but now that we have seen what we have of all of these teams throughout the day, look, we knew nothing was safe coming into a tournament like this. For a lot of these players, it's kind of a last hurrah, and I think there's a little bit more on the line for a lot of these guys playing.
Absolutely.
But we're talking here's all the exciting things going on with Group A. Group B also just got very interesting suddenly, very quickly. So yeah, they are definitely saying like, okay, we want a piece of the pie too. We want to make sure that it's not just some cut and dry, squeaky clean trip to Sunday for anyone that's going. I think, again, you called it St. Clair being maybe the safest one, but kind of looking back at the series here, Alex, I just think a team effort. I mean, you just don't see much discrepancy in a good way in the numbers out of Wichita State. You said Mars Hill at times forcing things, it looks like, maybe trying to make something happen that just isn't there.
Yep.
And then wondering why it's not developing. There's nothing there to develop. And so Wichita State played a very good series. I think Mars Hill played their own part in kind of spoiling some things that could have gone right for them. I think they either overthought it, or whenever they realized what they were doing. They tried to overcorrect it. So I think they had some self-inflicted wounds at various points in every one of these maps. But Wichita State went out and again just played free-flowing COD, and that's what won it for them. Is the fact that they played relaxed enough in their play style to kind of just go with the flow. And that's what it looked like here, especially in the overload, man. Just the back and forth between them, the way they really just took whatever lane was open in front of them, and to win in the fashion they did.
I'll say last year, even the year before that previous, I think the big thing that we talked about since MW3 from Wichita State was, you know, you had the ability for there to be a lot of slang from Peach, from Kaiser, from Deucer, and Exotic. Like, each of them had the ability to pop off at any given moment. And in a lot of the ways that they would play a series, you know, you'd have 2 guys pop off in a series. You'd have 3 maybe. But it never felt like at any point Wichita State had, against a very good team, I guess I should say, it never felt like they had all 4 players at the exact same point flowing together in a way that made sense. And I think that's what we've seen this year from Wichita State, which is made a significant difference. Was it a little bit different against St. Clair? Was it a little bit different against an Oklahoma Christian? Like, there's a lot of teams that they played up against that, like, yeah, they still met the ill fate of falling in a series to them. But these games that they've played against some of the top teams, it wasn't like we were having the conversation like we did, like some years ago, even last year, I guess, too, where it was like, here's the disparity between the top 4 teams and the top 25 of the CCL, and then there's a big gap between the next 5. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel like that for Wichita State anymore. They've closed and bridged that gap a lot further between some of the top teams within collegiate Call of Duty. And I think, especially on LAN, with everybody being able to kind of just be in the same environment as one another, being able to bounce off each other's energy, and especially seeing the opponents across the stage. I know that probably it's a lot for Exotic, because, I mean, that's the environment that he's used to. John, is that the environment you're used to? Being able to yell across the stage and shit talk? You didn't say a single word? If you can't tell, Exotic is standing over here on the side, waiting here in just a moment. That being said, we're going to come back to us real quick, and we are going to say, give us like 30 seconds, and we're going to have an interview ready for you guys. When we come back, Wichita State will join us here on the desk. Don't go too far. We'll be back here in St. Louis.
Boilermakers might not be in the hill, but you see two players working through the tunnels. It's Revy through green. He's going to open up with a kill. He's still got the traffic in hand. Goes for a slide out. Take a different look at this break. A couple players going to stretch to flip the map. That's going to force these spawn outs. See those white arrows? They turn around to deal with it. Still locking down the time.
I mean, what can be said about this? And as you said, they didn't get straight on the point in P3. They played it patiently, right? It's a case of how long can they hold on, because it's going to take more than one clean hill to get them back into this one now, as Red finds them merciless.
Hey, he's got 10 in a row, make it 11, looking for number 12. He's not going to go.
The reminder, Slayer and Spooky getting a couple, but I mean, it's just drops in the ocean here right now in regards to the flow of this series. This is all going the way of Boilermakers, one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen, and this is because you have Revy going on a 15. So should he go for the nuke? He might as well while he's on it.
He's able to put some shots in on one, does his best to get away, but is going to be reaped. Schluck now the last man alive in a 1v2.
Wow. How did Schlepp manage to stay alive there? I do not know, but needs to continue to try and stay alive, pick up the next kill as well. Maybe actually going to go for the push here against Mikkel versus Schlepp for what is already a massive round early on in this search and destroy. Will Schlepp be able to pick it up? He absolutely does, and that.
Start closing off all the lanes and make it very difficult for Midway Eagles to even get a chance on this defense. Their number 1, Cal. He's in the back. He's found 1. He's found 2. That's Honor as well. That'll be all 4 dead. There's a chance. There's EMP number 2. Cumberland Phoenix.
Oh, hop off the 3-0 against the Mars Hill Lions. Wichita State Shockers having themselves a ball. John Exotic joins us here on the desk. It's a pleasure to have you along here for the ride.
It's a pleasure to be here, honestly. Love it.
talking about all these young guys and everything like that, you know, one of the storylines that we've talked about was being kind of like almost like a mentor to a lot of the younger guys and being able to kind of coach them through a lot of ways. Don't mean to make you feel old at all here on the desk.
I definitely didn't at all.
No, of course not. I would never do that to you. But just kind of walk me through the process of just seeing them on their journeys kind of just over the course of the last few years.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I am older. I'm not going to say I'm not. Right? 27, turning 28 in a couple of weeks.
Damn.
Okay. Hey, guys, come on. What are we doing here? But being with these guys, I mean, they're a bunch of younger guys, right? Not even that young, 22, 23. But seeing them grow from when they were players when we first started teaming, the first beginning of the year, and seeing how they got like so much better in terms of, you know, individual talent, skill, understanding the game, even confidence. It's just great to see, and I'm happy with these guys. I mean, I've been around for a little while, right? But these guys haven't been around for too long. Not super in the challenger scene, that kind of stuff. But seeing them this weekend, I mean, hey, that was a good series from us, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, half the time I did nothing. Map 2, okay. Map 2 did pretty good. But these guys did great, right? The comms were great. I'm honestly really proud of these guys.
Absolutely.
Well, and even, I mean, to this point, Group A was looking really dicey, and we kind of broke it down going into it. I think now with this, Group B also gets very interesting. I don't know the exact numbers or situations needed, but talked about it in our last interview too. But what would a Sunday appearance mean? Not only, you know, for you, but even for the whole team camp. Obviously, you come to LAN, everyone hopes for a Sunday, and the competitive nature, you expect a Sunday. That's why you're here. But what would that mean to be able to punch your ticket, given how the rest of the day goes out, if you were to punch your ticket to Sunday?
Honestly, it'd be great. I think for Wichita State, as the players, you know, the family, friends, a lot of people are cheering us on, right? Deucer has some of his parents here who are really supporting. I think he wants to really do well for them. So I think going to Sunday and actually getting to a top 4 placing, it's for even just, like I said, Wichita State. I don't think we've ever placed better than top 8 at CCL playoffs. So top 4, I mean, I think everyone would be, you know, really happy, really excited. End of the day, you still want it first, right? We still want to actually get better than that. Top 4 is just a minimum, but I mean, for me, with myself, like, I'm happy, you know, I can still, you know, shoot around. I can still shoot a little bit. I'm still okay at the game. And like I say, you know, these guys put a lot of work in. So I think everyone would be, you know, really happy with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have kind of like rebuilt almost the Wichita State COD program, just almost from the ground up in a way. And like throughout that entire process, like how has it been working with like Wichita State's athletic team and like the esports department and just everybody together to kind of make something bigger than what it used to be at Wichita State?
Honestly, it's amazing. I mean, Joe, the director over here, I've been with him since I came to Wichita State. So it's my 3rd year now. These guys have been amazing. Anything I ever ask for, anything I ever need, any help with anything, these guys are doing it in a heartbeat. And I'm not going to lie, this is probably my favorite. I know it's a school, but organization, I guess you can consider as well.
Sure.
To ever be a part of. These guys have been fantastic for me. They do everything I need and everything I ask. And obviously, all they ask for me is do good, right? They ask for us to perform, and hopefully, we're doing good for them. But it's great to see Wichita State as a whole just kind of growing for the esports scene at least too. Obviously, there's some facilities. I'm an online student, so I mean, I don't go there often.
Sure.
But as a whole, I mean, even the player interest has gone up. A lot of people are interested in just coming, just even playing for fun, just coming to the facility, having a good time, seeing what COD's all about.
Yeah.
And I think for Wichita State, getting a top 4 placing this weekend or anything better than that, it's fantastic for them, right? They actually see that Wichita is one of the better orgs and better schools, better teams in Call of Duty. Definitely brings in some people and definitely draws attention to the school and everything. And I think that's exactly what they want, and I think that's what we're doing for them.
Yeah, it's dope. I see, actually, like in the Twitch chat and everything, I see so many more people for Wichita State, like in the chat when you guys are playing, than like any other organization out there besides maybe like the Iowa State Cyclones. And that's like the only other team that I see in there that like actually has like an active player base that like wants to come in, cheer you guys on, root for you guys. Final question I have, obviously, you know, long time tenure in Call of Duty. Got to watch you when I was younger and everything growing up.
Really?
Like,
I didn't know that at all. Okay.
But like kind of like going from like just that old like kind of like circuit and everything to just kind of like being more reserved within the scene and just doing more CCL stuff and that kind of being like the main thing now. How has that kind of like affected you, and like what do you still kind of feel in the ways of like love for Call of Duty?
I mean, I can't lie. The reason why I'm still here is because I love it, right?
Yeah.
I've got to the point where I definitely don't think I'm doing it full-time competitively anymore. I'm not making a pro league. I'm not doing anything like that, right? So CCL has definitely been a good background for me, and it's something that I really am happy that I actually went through and followed through. And to me, like, again, I'm a little bit older, right? I'm 27, 28. I just do coaching now, like on the side. I don't really do too much in terms of playing. But coming here and playing these events, like, I miss it. There's times where I'm like, I really wish I could, you know, go back and compete. Yeah, I'm sure I could if I really wanted to and really actually tried it. I could. But just even going to these events, just playing tournaments, even playing just normal CCL matches just throughout the year, I enjoy it. I look forward to usually like we play Tuesday nights. And I look forward to our Tuesday night matches just because I'm playing COD again, right?
Yeah.
That itch I have, it's not going away. Unfortunately, I'm here for a little longer. Like, that's how it is. So.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we get to watch you for the next couple of years.
Hopefully.
And
Hey, I'll be
as long
here.
as I'm here, and I
I'm a
get to
junior.
watch.
I got one more year left.
Hey,
so
beautiful.
I'm back for one more. Like,
Well, hopefully we'll be back in a situation like this again, and maybe we'll be talking to you tomorrow after one of the games. So hopefully you guys are able to make it to Sunday. I'd love to see that.
hey, hopefully. Doing it for Joe. That's our guy right there.
Big Joe.
Doing it for Joe. But yeah, we'll do our best, right?
Absolutely. Well, John Exotic, appreciate you for being here.
Of course.
Weird left hand shake, I
That
know,
was
but
definitely
it's just
weird.
we're
I'll
across
give
the
you
way.
the right.
Right, see? That's proper.
That's proper.
I'll reach across.
See,
There we
that's a
go.
good handshake, too. Hey, watcher, streamer. Good handshake guy right there. And lady. Fantastic.
Alrighty, we're going to send things to a break. Wichita State 3-0. We've got, I believe, it's either 1 or 2 more matches coming up for the rest of the night. We'll see how the group standings shake out for Group A and for Group B. We'll see who makes it on for tomorrow for Sunday and who will be playing for a championship. But until we come back, we've been at the Impact Gaming Center here in St. Louis, Illinois. It's been a great venue, been a great time so far. When we come back from a break, we'll have another Best of 5 series. Don't go too far. CCL continues just a bit.